All right, welcome everybody and happy new year 2026. All right, let's make this the best year ever. Listen, if you're into day trading, we got a great day trading room that we host Tuesdays and Thursdays. You can check that out. There's information on our website at www.traderscoach.com for that. So definitely check that out. Great morning trading today for the new year. Good way to kick it off. Nice big move in the market this morning. So hopefully day traders out there caught that. All right, so let's go ahead and dig in. I'm going to start going full screen here, and we'll get going. All right, so first thing I want to go over, of course, are the risks involved in trading the markets. Like I always say, without that risk, there is no opportunity. So the two go hand in hand. But you need to be aware of the risk in trading the markets. There's no guarantees. We work in a realm of probability. So risk control is paramount. You got to always use it. You got to have a stop in place, and you have to trade with money you can afford to risk. That way you can make objective, sound decisions, not based on emotion because of the fact that you have money that you shouldn't be trading. So always trade with money you can afford to risk in the markets. Also, too, when we look at stocks today and I make a recommendation, please run that by your financial advisor or whoever manages your money to be sure it's suitable for you. I don't know your personal situation. They certainly should. And then finally, past performance doesn't guarantee future performance. All right, so Jeannie just put up a link, thank you, Jeannie, into the day trading room here. So if you're interested in that, I think you can click right on the link in the comments area so you can check that out when you're ready. All right, so that covers the risk. Please take a note of that. Also, too, if you need help with risk control, I've written several books on controlling your risk and managing it. And that's the Trader's Money Management System, published by Wiley, and Money Management for Traders. However, my newest book, The Art of Trading Second Edition, also published by Wiley, covers everything. So I would suggest getting that book if you're going to get one book. It's a big book. It's about 608 pages, but it covers pretty much everything. It's brand new. Okay, it just came out last year. Also, too, I've got Elliott Wave Techniques Simplified, published by McGraw-Hill on the Elliott Wave, and then the Survival Guide for Traders as well. And just as a side note on the art of trading, there's information on prop firms in there and things of that nature. So also a little bit of price action and so forth. So you can check that out. And if you want more on price action, we have a course on that as well. When we look at charts, we're going to be using software I created called the Applied Reality Trading System, along with the OWL, PTF, TLM, and ERI charting indicators. We also have scanners that work in most of the major scanners, for example, in Radar Screen, in TradeStation, or in the Market Analyzer in NinjaTrader and multi-chart scanner as well. And then I have risk control software to help you calculate your proper trade size and your risk to reward on each trade. Again, we'll put links for all this up down below, okay? But you can check that out. And then also give us a like, okay? And we appreciate everybody coming and all those watching the recordings. And so that helps the channel out when you do that. And then also here, a couple more things. If you want to keep up with the market this year, I think we got some interesting things that will be occurring this year in the market. We have something called the Market Opportunity Report, also known as MOR. And this will keep you up to date on the market each and every week. It's a paid subscription. So we go into the NASDAQ, the S&P. We also have stock picks in this as well. So if you're interested in that, check it out. We'll put a link also in the recording area down in the description, or you can go to our website. This month, we kick off Saturday Trading Education Workshop for 2026. First one is the 10th of January, which is a Saturday. And it is going to be every second Saturday of each month, starting at 12 noon Eastern time. So that would be 9 a.m. Pacific time. All right. And Jeannie just put a link up for the Market Opportunity Report. So there it is. But basically, this is free. So come check things out. You know, we'll cover the art software. We did one a couple in December of 2025 already. We covered the art software in the enhancers on the charting platform. So you can check that out if you want to learn more about those. And then also too, the other thing I wanted to tell you about is I've got a course on just price action. All right, not indicators, just price action. And this basically covers fair value gap, some ICT concepts that are excellent. We also cover order blocks, inverted fair value gaps, breaker blocks, SIBIs, all that kind of good stuff are covered in this price action home study course. And again, we'll put a link up for you, or you can go to the website under education and check that out as well. All right, so that covers the admin stuff I wanted to cover this morning. So let me dump that, and let me just make sure my pointer's working. Looks good. And I just wanted to start off before we start jumping into stocks here. I just wanted to start off here, and feel free to go ahead and type your stocks in at any time, and do those in caps, and do about 3 at a time to keep things flowing. And let me know if you're long or short. That way I can customize the interpretation or analysis for you. All right, so BE is where I want to start. We looked at this last week. It's a recommended buy, and I still have it as a buy. And basically, what we had on this is we had a fair value gap here. All right, and notice that prices respected that, bounced off it, and now we're changing structure on the daily chart. And so I'm liking to see that. I also like to see the long wicks here down in this order block area here on the weekly chart. And from there, I'm targeting this upside here, okay, which is around 150. And then also the wave 5, Elliott wave 5 target zone is a fib extension between 157 and 208. So I'm going to put down BE as a recommendation. You want to put your stop at the bottom here, okay? Yeah, I would put it even, I would go below this order block area here. I would put it just under there, right under here, okay, just to be sure in case they bring it down one more time to clear a little equity. Anytime you have a double bottom, all right, you got to be careful that, because there's a lot of equity sitting here, okay, and a lot of sell side equity. So you want to make sure you don't become the liquidity. So put it down a little bit lower, just under that, to give it some room in case it expands to the downside. All right, Jeannie also just put a link up for the Saturday education workshop, so you can check that out as well, okay? So definitely look at that. So BE goes on our good watch list. All right, I want to also take a look at Bitcoin here. So let's give that a chance to load. Going once, going twice. I had this up earlier. I don't know why it's not loading well right now, but let's give it a minute here, and we'll take a look at it. So this is one that's come down. We're right around 89,000 on Bitcoin right now, and for some reason the data is not filling in here. I don't know why. Let's see if that helps it at all. I just refreshed it. Oh, doesn't look like it wants to load. All right, let's see, go back here. Okay, that's BE. I'm going to go back to Bitcoin one more time. There you go. Okay, so sometimes these things get a little finicky. All right, so here we got Bitcoin here. All right, so Bitcoin has been pretty range bound, okay, for quite some time. It broke its down trend line, but we don't have any movement up yet. Now, a couple things we're watching here on Bitcoin. We had a huge order block back here, okay, which is basically what this represents here. We also have a ton of equity sitting under there. So if the bears get control, they could conceivably run that equity down into the 70,000 range, okay? That would not be good, okay? So we're keeping an eye on that. I have a red PTF, which is our indicator here, saying that they're going to run this bottom here. So we'll see what happens. We could go up here a little bit here into this order block here and turn down. So I think Bitcoin has got to show some impressive movement up before we can really get excited that we're on the next leg up. All right, so let's keep an eye on this. And I want to keep an eye on the fact that we need a break above this fair value gap on the weekly chart, which is this here. That's the chart on the right. I guess I should say this is the weekly. I don't know if you can see that. This is the daily. Pretty small up here, but anyway, it's up there. Okay, so we got to get above this. All right, we got to get above back around 103, I guess, or something before we can basically say we have an inverted fair value gap here. So far, we don't have that. So I'm not recommending this as a buy. If it starts to move up, I think it would be, but for right now, it's just a hold for right now. Or if you're, in it with a lot of profit, maybe put a stop someplace under there. But I do think we're going to move back up at some point. But I think for right now, we're stuck in this range for a little bit. All right. So, and yes, BE is a winner for today. Yep. And the other one I wanted to take a look at is gold. Okay. So we talked about gold last week, and I'm just going to use the GLT symbol on this. All right. Extremely, obviously, strong movement up. There's a lot going on in the U.S. financial area, so to speak, in terms of currencies and the Fed and all that kind of stuff. So we have gold and silver both taking off and Bitcoin stagnant, which is kind of interesting. So a lot of people out there believe gold and silver will be the new standard of currency at some point. Time will tell, and the fiat currency will be basically a thing of the past at some point. That's what some people feel. I don't know enough to make that decision here, but I do know enough that gold is in an uptrend, and a darn good one, okay? So what do you do right now? I'd be a little reluctant to jump into this until we get a decent pullback, which I think we're due. Again, I don't like to buy at highs. The smart money was in way down here, okay, on the break of this channel. Look at the pyramids, all beautifully. This is our indicator, all, lighting the way to the upside. But now what do you do? Well, in terms of targets, we've probably got a target on the daily chart here of a wave 5 between 423 and 461 in that range there. And we're at 397. So another push up is probable. But then at that particular point, we may be at the top of a wave 3 on a weekly, which means a fairly large correction of profit taking around the corner. So I would be a little reluctant to get into this, wait for that profit-taking correction, be patient, and then I think that might be a better thing to do. Silver, the same story there. All right, same exact story, okay? Big move up, all right? And again, I just don't like to buy when we are at the top of a trend, a mature part of the trend. Could it go up a little further? Yeah, but it's kind of Russian roulette on that point. All right, so I kind of would hold off until we get the profit-taking correction on silver. Now, if you're in silver and you want to trade it, all right, just draw a trend line. And if it breaks the trend line or breaks any of these order blocks, and if you don't know what an order block is, definitely look into the course I have on how to identify those. But that's kind of how you might want to set your stops if you're in it. Now, notice here, all right, we had an area here, okay, where we had a fair value gap, bolted through that, bearish one actually, and then took off. So that was a nice area of a buy in here. But, look at where it is now. Now it's all the way up here. And some people think this will go through the roof with time. And I don't think they're wrong, but I think probably a pullback is in order for silver to once again have another massive leg up. So again, silver, they need silver for electronics. They need silver for all these batteries. And also, too, many people think when you go to buy things, you'll buy it in silver and gold at some point in Bitcoin. So we'll see what happens with that. But again, that's out of my area of expertise. That's just what I read. All right, so let's see what's cooking out there. We got Zen Trader. Hello, Zen Trader. All right, let's take a look at you. And you're watching that, and we'll take a look at your NET that you're short on as well. All right, so a couple good things, all right? The reason I like to use 2 time frames is because it kind of gives me a better overview of what's going on. If you look at this daily time frame, this looks like, whoa, boy, that's a big trend. But then when you look on the weekly, you can see that, yeah, it's a decent move up now, but it's moving up off a bottom, which is really good. So what I look for on these moves up off the bottom is a change in structure. Now, a change in structure basically is going from a downtrend to an uptrend. And what I look for on that is I try to find some pullback areas that have significance on the actual weekly chart. And we have a few right here. The main one is this one right here. Okay, this higher one. All right, the reason for this is it's ranging, and we're kind of still in the range, even though we made a little bit of a low. So we could toss around here a little bit longer. I'd like to see a break above 57. What is that high? That's 57. Oh, that's 58.63. So I'd like to get a move above that. We've got some bearishness here with some bearish fair value gaps. Those don't concern me too much at this point. What I'm looking for is a break in structure and a move off this bottom. And you can see the break in structure on the daily chart, but then you can see the other break in structures that we're looking for here. So I'm kind of liking this. We got a bullish owl, which is one of our indicators, and a bullish PTF. We're still a little bit in a range. You've got a long trade set up here on the break of this pyramid here. So in terms of an early entry, this is looking pretty good. Let's take a look and see what this bearish price bar is here. I don't like this, okay? But that's not necessarily bad, but it did take out equity here. Let's put this on a watch list for next week, okay? I would not jump into this yet because the fact that this bar took out equity here and here, and we're getting a pullback, we may come back down into this order block. We have a bullish fair value gap here, all right? And we have not gone below that. So I would say on this one, chances are if you get above here, if you close above this bearish here, let me just draw it in here. This bullish fair value gap rather here. If you can get a close above that, then that is a long trade. Okay, we should take out the top there. But I don't want to put you in here right now because we could still go back down below it. If we close below it, then the next stop is the order block area down in here, okay? So let's hold off on that and put that as a watch. STN, let's take a look at that one. All right, so this one here, you're watching this as well, okay. So this one's had a nice retracement, which I like, okay? I always prefer getting in on the retracement area. The only thing with this is we don't really have a break in structure, and we have a huge, let me just look at that. All right, so we have a huge fair value gap here, bearish. We're touching it now. The bullish pyramid, which did really well, is done, okay? The bullish pyramid started down here. So that's done. We've got some wicks here taking out equity here. This is setting up for a classic 2020 ICT model where, let's draw in the encroachment here and here. So if you get a pull up into this area here, all right, and we see a sell-off from here, then you want to go short, okay? But we'll see. The other thing here we have to take into consideration is we're right in a pullback area for this pullback area, but I don't think another high is coming right now. I think we're going to have some more movement down. So I would be a short trader if we get up, into this encroachment area and then have rejection. don't want to go in until we have rejection. All right, we took out this area here. So we have a change in structure. Now we have a pull up, and then what I'm thinking is that's going to happen. So this would be what we're looking at here for a short, okay? But not yet. All right, and we may get a bearish pyramid when that pulls up and pulls in there. That's what I'm thinking as well. All right, NET. Let's take a look at that for a short here. So STN, let's put STN as a short, but on the watch list, okay? All right. Okay, so let's see what we got here. Nice move up. We took out equity here. Let's see if there's any more equity. Not really. Okay, so we got the equity taken out there. We had a reversal. We have not, let me see here. Let's see what the low is on this. So that's 181.16, and the low here is 180. So we changed structure here, and we have a fair value. Those pyramids forming in here too. We went up into this fair value gap. I would say if we take out this pyramid here, all right, that's confirmation of a short right here. So what I'm thinking here is that on the weekly chart, all right, we have a very small fair value gap, bearish. We touched it, rejected. I'd like it to see break this structure down here. We've already got the pyramid. See the blue colored pyramids over here on the daily chart? That is a channel. And basically that's an accumulation area for probably institutions at this point. So usually that results in some form of a break, and I would anticipate it to be down, okay? So I think a short makes sense here. I think probably what I would recommend here is when this pyramid gets hit, you take it here, okay? And you target down here, okay? So the target's gonna be here for a partial, and here probably in this area here for a full. So let's draw a couple lines there. So you got a partial here. Partial is a target, okay? Here, okay? And then maybe even lower here, but you know, at that point you can trail your stop down. So if we break this pyramid, we're shooting for here. So the narrative is basically this is our target. I take a partial, all right, and move your stop to break even profitable after that. But you'll get more pyramids to form before that to help you with that. So that's kind of what I'm thinking on that. So on NET, short is fine, but not yet. Okay, let's wait for this pyramid to turn. Okay, those were good. Thank you. All right, Antonio, we looked at gold and we looked at silver already. You must have come in late. Let me know if you saw them or not. Okay. All right. All right. Gene says, Alexander, know how to YouTube change my handle. Okay. Let's see who we got here. Alexander. Oh, don't know. Maybe go in and change it back to what you want. Okay. All right. Let's see. JP, how are you? All right. Long. CG NX. CGNX. How many of you out there are day traders? Did you catch today's big move down? Classic silver bullet ICT 2020 model down today. Huge run, over 200 points. All right, so let's see here. CGNX, possible long. Don't see it yet. Okay, maybe it's setting up, but let's take a look here. We got a gap that's filled here, order block here. We've got a little bit of a range here. So let's take out this range. Here's the thing, okay? If you look here, all right, this was a change in structure here, taking this out. So now if you want to go long, you kind of got to wait for another change in structure here to get taken out. So, and then usually what happens is that If you get that taken out, then you get the pullback, get the fair value gap, and then you go. Okay. So I'm kind of thinking at this point here, let's wait. All right. You got a nice fair value gap here. All right. You still could get rejection off this and a move up, which would take out this high. Okay. You do not have a change in structure here. Okay. But you could have one if you take this high out here. So keep that in mind. I would hold off on that. STM. Possible long. Let's see what he says here. Okay. Nice move off here. Okay. My only problem with this, we did take out this. Okay, so let me just take a look at this here. We've got some serious equity sitting at that red line, sell side equity. Okay. I kind of think before they take that higher, they may want to take that out. Let's see what we got here. We got a fair value gap off this. So this is your order block down here on this move up. And don't like this. Okay. Pyramids did a great job getting you short early. But the thing is that this is a big deal up here, this resistance we have here. Doesn't mean we can't move higher, because we definitely got another move up here. Okay, but I would probably just target this area here. If you were going long, you might even come back into this fair value gap here. You got a higher high, which is good, a fair value gap down here that held. So what I would have loved to have seen is this equity taken out down here. I would have liked to have seen that, because otherwise the equity they took out was here, and the fact that that got driven down much further without taking this equity out, maybe they may be engineering more sell side liquidity here and here, buy side liquidity up here. And you have a bearish fair value gap over here too. So I kind of would stay off this one, okay, at this point. Let's see if we can take some equity out, and we'll have a better thing. So let's bring that one back next week as well, okay? That's STM. We had STN, and this is STM. All right, and ASTS. All right. Okay, so here we looked at this one before, okay? We had a nice move off this order block down here, all right? And we had a pretty nice move up here. We had rejection here. Oh boy, let's see what we got here. Okay, what's my narrative here? Indicators are saying more high. I don't like that huge wick up there, but okay. Let me just go to the monthly chart for real quick. Okay, bull trend, it's bullish. All right, so my narrative is bullish. Okay, so bullish narrative on this. Rejection off that. Touched it twice. So this one, we got an active pyramid here. I think this one you can go long on, okay? ASTS, we'll put that down as a winner here. I put my stop below this. I'd even go lower than the pyramid, I think, on this one, maybe down into this area here. So adjust your trade size. If you want to use the bottom of the pyramid, that's fine too, okay? But there is an area here. We probably should not go down below that, but there is an order. Sometimes they go into these order blocks. So to be safe, you need to put it a little bit lower. I don't think you need to put it at the bottom. If it takes this out, it's going down. But I'm kind of thinking there. We may range for a little bit also, but the daily chart looks pretty good. Weekly chart, we'll see. Okay, weekly chart, we could range a little bit, but we should take out this high here. So my target's above here at 102, which is what the PTFs are saying as well. So that's where there's a lot of equity. Make sure you target that area up there and sell some if it gets up there. Okay. So that's ASTS. Thank you. Good ones. That is JP. All right. Let's keep going here. Where are you? Can't find where I was. Okay, there you are. All right. Zen Trader is back with Microsoft. Let's see what Microsoft is cooking here. All right. So thinking of getting out. Gotcha. All right. Well, you have green PTFs. So those are indicating that after this correction, we should move up again. Okay. So that's one thing to take a note of. So you're in the fib area here. Just give me a second. We got a small fair value gap here. All right. We've got movement down here. I think we're going down again. All right. I think this is a big deal here. I think on the weekly chart, this is an accumulation area for sell side market maker model. So down here, we got a big fair value gap here. All right. So I don't think the correction's over. All right. Now, with that said, you've already been in it and gave back 100 points. So probably when we get down here, all right, which is 464, that will take that bottom out there. I'm going to leave it up to you, but this is definitely bearish right now. Okay. Now, after the bearishness ends, it should go higher, but that could be quite low. You could get down to 400 before that happens. Okay. So just keep that in mind. All right, let's take a look at Cisco. Thinking about getting out of this one too. All right, no PTF to help us here. All right, you definitely have, let's just see. I'll tell you what is making this very difficult for everybody is we're, basically at all-time highs. So there's no other areas to look for swept equity at this point and so forth. So that's the issue, okay? So we've got a bearish divergence on the owl here and here. Let me just draw that in real quick. So here and here. Close to going red. Could we get one more high up? Sure. Okay, you do not have a major change in structure here. We got a little bit here, but not a break in structure down here. So anything before, in other words, this area here indicates an uptrend is still in place. So you could get a rebound provided prices stay above there. If that gets taken out, all right, then, you have a fair value gap here. But if that gets taken out, then technically you have a break in structure. And what you would do is you would wait for if this break in structure creates a bearish fair value gap or not. Probably maybe one in here. If you had a move up here, if this breaks this low here, move up here, move down, there's where your possible bearish pyramid will form P. This is just an MP. I'm talking about a P pyramid. And also, too, that would be a possible ICT 2020 model, okay, of a sell-off, okay? So keep an eye on this. Maybe I put your stop at this pyramid right here, okay? All right, AD, again, talk to your financial advisor. These are my recommendations, and things can change. All right, so Adobe, watching. Okay, so Adobe pulled back into an order block, and let me just shift this to candlesticks. Okay, so we had a close below the order block and a close below here. Okay, so equity was taken here and equity was taken here. We have bullish divergence. So don't go in yet. Keep watching it. All right, bring it back next week. It's not ready yet. All right, let's see. Frank, how are you? Okay, how are you doing, Frank? Happy New Year to you. And to you, Frank Turbin, how are you? All right. All right, let's see what we got here. How are you? Let's see, for example, gold, GLD. Let's see here, GLD. Let's type that baby in. You see a green PTF on the daily, correct? And also a green on the weekly, right? Okay. All right. So you always read the lower time frame first. Okay. So the 4 hour is going to usually happen before the daily. All right. So if you're seeing a PTF that's red on the 4 hour, it's coming down. And so what that means is that we're in a correction. And then after the correction, we should see more highs because the daily PTF is green and so is the weekly. Okay. But this is why you see, I don't like to necessarily go in near these tops here, because you can get pullbacks before you reach the targets, and the market's overextended, right? So it doesn't mean it can't keep going, but the risk increases when you get in late on a trend. Hopefully, let me know if you need clarification on that, but hopefully that answers your question. All right, UNG. All right, UNG still in a downtrend. All right, we made another low, I believe, here. So that low is 1148, and yeah, so that's a new low as of last week. You can see it hovering right around in here, right? So at this particular point, that price bar there, this particular point, we wait. I mean, it's been range bound for 2 years now. Just about, right? So at this point here, any long trades that were recommended are scrapped at this point. Okay, so nothing on that front. I mean, if you're in it and you don't mind holding something as it scrapes along the bottom, that's fine. But from a technical analysis standpoint, there's nothing there now. All right, let's see about FCEL. Okay, so on FCEL, we had a move off the bottom. We have a green PTF, okay, here, yellow here. We had a break in structure on the daily. Do we have a break in structure yet on the weekly? No. Okay, here it is right here. Break in structure right there. So an early entry, you could, if you wanted to take an early entry, that's fine. Put your stop at the bottom. We could channel a while. If you wanted to wait for the break in structure on the weekly, then you wait, okay? You had a break in structure on the lower time frame, so that's kind of cool. But I'd like to see a break in structure on the weekly. So for aggressive entries, you could take that. Notice that we had a bearish fair value gap. We respected that. We came down quite a bit. And now looks like we're heading back up because of the fact that we hit this fair value gap here, okay? And I don't think we closed above it or below it. We wicked below it, but not closed. All right, so let's see what happens with that. Now, if you're conservative, wait for the break in structure, all right, and the pullback. So if you get a break in structure, you may get a pullback. And when you get that break in structure on the weekly, it may create a fair value gap that you can use for entry on the pullback after the break in structure. That could be possible. Early entry, you want to use the daily chart. You could be long here, okay? And if this closes above here today, that's a good sign, okay? It looks like it may. All right, UNG, you were looking, okay, no UNG. All right, yes, ASTS is a winner, JP. All right, let's go back and take a look at gold. I know some of you guys came in late, so let's take a look at that again. All right, so gold, the situation with gold is that we have green PTFs on both time frames. All right, we are a target on the next leg up before we get into a significant sell-off is 423 to 464. So let's break this down from an Elliott wave standpoint. 3, 4, 5. Daily time frame. 5 will represent the end of 3. Okay, so we're close. Very close. Okay. So that's kind of what we did here. We took out equity on this last leg up. We have not had a break in structure to the downside on anything yet. So technically, this is still in an uptrend. My only problem with this is you're so close to the target. I'm not going to recommend it as a buy because you're so close to the target. And once this wave 3 completes on the weekly, guess what follows? Wave 4, right? And how nasty is wave 4 going to be at some point? Probably pretty nasty, 323 to 264. So that's going to stop out any weak hands, okay? So I kind of would rather wait for the pullback on this. And maybe we go, you know, again, we could go to 461. It could go way up here still. But again, the risk is of not catching it quite right. And with the markets, sometimes you get close, misses the target by just a few points, and then changes. So you got to be careful about that. All right, so that is gold. In terms of the crypto market, you can look at that because I don't have the crypto data on here, which is gold USD, okay? All right, and for the silver market, I'm just going to look at the ETF for that as well. We covered that one already too. And very similar scenario, okay? Now, with that said, you know, silver is a unique metal as well because it's used in a lot of electronics just like gold is. And also many people out there, like I said before, think silver and gold will be currency at some point. You go buy a car, you'll buy it in silver or gold or Bitcoin. So that doesn't bode well for the fiat dollar, right? So in any case, same analysis pretty much here. We're at the top of a 3. We're still in a 3 here. So this has got more room to move than gold does. Okay, you're not in a 5 here. You're still in a 3 on the daily. Okay, and again, the owl helps us with this. Okay, you got 2 3s. So a wave 4, if that occurs now, will not be a wave 4 on a weekly yet. Okay, so it would be something more like, you know, a pullback into this area here. Let me just redo that. So 3, 1, 2, 3. I think probably this is the leg up. So I'm looking for a pullback 59 to 52 as a better place to buy silver for the next leg up and then get out at the top of 3 on the weekly. Okay. Crude. Take a look at that. What is that? UNG, I think, right? No, UNG. Let me just check that. Well, I haven't looked at crude oil in a while. Give me a sec. Just want to make sure I got the best ETF for that. USO. This is natural gas. Okay, so let's take a look at that. All right, here we are. It's been a long time. The reason I haven't looked at it is because it's been in a channel for so long and on the weekly chart that I'm really not interested in it. Okay, so there it is right there. So there's so much volatility on the daily chart that I kind of use the weekly chart to weed out that noise. All right. And, just not interested in it at this point. So no recommendation on that. All right, let's move on. All right, possible long EQX. Okay. All right, so we took out the high here. We've got a 5 in place here. I think, this one here, we've got a very strong owl here. We have no longer a green PTF here. I think I would wait on this, okay? A couple reasons why, all right? You may get one more leg up on this, but I need to see a rejection of this fair value gap. We don't have that yet, okay? So that's my only concern with that one, okay? So we may have one more leg up. We could still be in wave 5. So it'd be something like, a 3, 4, 5, okay? With one more leg up is possible. This is not gone red yet. So that's possible, and we don't have a break in structure really until we go below this. All right, let me just see if we've gone below that. 1339, and so we did break structure here. So that is kind of interesting, and we're going to probably have a fair value gap. I would hold off on this, okay, because it may pull back. So let's take a look at this next week. If it's a quick pullback, then it will be ready to possibly buy in a week or so. If this is going to be a more major pullback, then you're going to have to wait longer. Okay, but I wouldn't go in yet. Okay, PRNT. All right, red PTF on both time frames. And at this particular point here, we have a fair value gap, a bearish one there, and we have a respected one here. Did not change major structure there. Okay, yeah, no long on this. If anything, it's a short. All right, that's PRNT and UFO. It's an interesting stock, UFO. ETF probably, but all right. So, okay, so what do we got here? Green PTF on the weekly. We got an uptrend in place. We respected this fair value gap nicely here. We created a order block down in here. We had a nice fair value gap after it. We touched the fair value gap after it on the weekly chart. Let me just see here. All right, so that's good. We'll take out this equity here. And then the question is, how much higher will it go? Tough to call because there's no points of reference. But I would say at this particular point, pretty tough to tell. Let me see if we can get an Elliott wave count on this one here, 3, 4, 5. So maybe I'm thinking somewhere around in this area here. No, that's not what I want. So we want here, here, and here. So we're already in the target. I kind of think no. I think it's going to take out this high, but I don't think it's going to do much more than that. So maybe 40, the high, what is that, 41, maybe up to 44, right around that time frame. Okay, so I'd say we're almost there. Too close. Okay. All right, I did crude oil. Let's see what else we did. And let's see what else. Gold in a lower time frame. Unfortunately, I have end of day data here. Okay, so I don't have a 60-minute chart. Now, if you like to trade things like that on lower time frames, that's where the day trading room is. For example, this morning we traded the NQ, MNQ, and gold. All right. So that's the kind of stuff we do in the day trading room. That's where our futures data is. But for these, we're looking for basically longer term trades. Swing trades are long term. All right. Anything else? All right. So let's just go over what we like today. So we got BE. All right. This is one that's on the buy list. All right. Target on this one is 157 to 208. We had nice rejection off this fair value gap here. All right. And now we're moving up. Let me just check one thing here. Stop loss placement's important here. 76. And we had 75. So we took out equity here and here. You can put your stop right under here. Okay. I think you'll be fine there. Target up here. So first target here, you can take profit at this high here of 147 and then move to break even and let a runner go up into the target area. Okay. So BE is a winner today. Okay. All right. And ASTS, and we'll look one more for Frank. All right. So ASTS respected this fair value gap down here, moved up, got a pull back here. I like BE better. Okay. We have some pretty long wicks up here, but we've got two green PTFs and we also had a nice order block here. So stop needs to go under the pyramid. Should not go below that. Okay. And then I missed one, HSY for Frank. All right. Let's see what we got there. Okay. So, let's see. Bearish PTF, range bound. I would say no go on this one, Frank. Okay. I think it's going to be range bound for a little while. Okay. Hey, thank you too. Okay. We appreciate you. And as Gene says, Happy New Year to everybody. Okay, great. All right, Frank, I just did HSY, so you can check that out. No go on that one. Okay. That one's range bound. Don't do anything with that. BE is better. And I don't know if you're in it or not. If you're in it, then put your stop down below this area here. Otherwise, I'd stay out of it. All right. Anything else? Good day today. Oh, Fury. Okay, let's check out that. F-U-R-Y. All right, JP, I don't know if you're long or short on this or considering it. pretty range bound right now. A lot of volatility, as you can see, a lot of manipulation, a lot of wicks on this one. All right, when you see wicks, that's usually manipulation, okay, of some sort. All right, so at this particular point, I have no fair value gaps here, nothing here. So range bound. Let's see over here. Yeah, there's nothing. So at this particular point, yeah, no go on that. Now, Antonio, on silver, we looked at that one already. It's the third time we've looked at it. Okay. So on this one here, I would not go long here. I would wait for a little bit more of a pullback on this one. It's going higher. There's no question about it. But at this particular point, it's going to top here pretty soon. So I would rather wait for a pullback where I kind of feel like I'm getting in on a discount versus a premium. But that's me, okay? Now, could it make another high? Sure. So if you wanted to go high and put your stop here and go for a target up here, you certainly could do that. Long term, I think silver is going to go to the moon, so to speak. But if you're trading it with risk control, you got to take into account the fact of where you're going to put your stop and things of that nature. Okay. I think silver's got a huge amount of movement back up. Huge. But I think there's profit taking that comes into temporary top profit taking before more highs. But look at the out. Look at the PTFs on this. Strong as heck. But we probably could pull back into this area. And if we do, that would be a great buy area here. If you're long term and you don't care about minor pullbacks, well, then just go in. But go in with money you can afford to keep in there and not become weak money if it pulls back. Oh, okay. All right. Antonio, does that help you? Let me know, okay? Okay, good. Just want to make sure we covered everything for you because everybody has a little bit different take. I don't mind looking up stuff again because your take may be a little different on it or your question, so that's fine. All right, yeah, my pleasure, okay? My pleasure. All right, well, this was a great session, everybody, okay? Very, very good. So we're going to be back next week. And let me just do this real quick. So we got BE and ASTS as buys for this week. On the watch list, we got a lot. We got USTN. I'm just going to read the list here. USTN. All right, STN is a short possibility for next week. NET is another short possibility. STM. All right, we talked about STN, so STM. All right, and then Adobe, ADBE, and EQX. Those are the ones on the watch list for next week. And also, too, January 10th of this month, we have the free Saturday workshop. So definitely check us out on that. And Jean will, I think, put a link up to that, but maybe she'll put another link up there. And thank you, everybody, for coming. All right, Happy New Year. Let's make this a really great one. Market's been off to a good start today, so we'll see what happens. All right, so I'm going to put a little music on, and we'll end the session in a few minutes. And you guys have a great one. See you next week.